Hi, it's Veronique, and today we are talking about sugar. Sugar, this is like the bad boyfriend or girlfriend that you want to get out of your life, but it's a love and hate relationship. It's toxic. You don't know what to do about this guy. You just know he has to go away from your life. In this part one of my video series about sugar, I'm going to share with you what are the multiple names of sugar and how is the industry trying to fool you with all those tricky names they're using on all those labels. So let me first share my philosophy about sugar. I think we should avoid to eat sugar. It's bad for our health. That's going to be another video. You can learn to really appreciate the natural sweetness of the foods we eat. There is sweetness in vegetables. There is sweetness in nuts. There's sweetness in milk, right? So why do you need extra sugar? And then when it comes to the sweeteners, I don't want them. I'd rather have then a real little dose of real sugar. That's the way I am. That's what I advise my clients. So let me start. We're going to go from what I feel is a good source of sugar, which are the honey, agave, beet, maple, of course, fruits. There is lactose in milk and there is fructose in fruits. Just have them in moderation, but they are natural. But even so, next time you buy some honey, check the label. Is it pure honey? Because the food industry is very good at lowering their costs by adding glucose syrup to your honey. That's just an example. Now, there's another form of sugar that also has this loophole in or labeling rules that they can claim that they are sugar-free, 0 calories. It's the sugar alcohols. And yes, they're like 1/3 of the sugar in the normal sugar they're coming from. They use a lot in chewing gums, and they have some very difficult names to pronounce. Like, look for erythritol, xylitol, maltitol. They're not very good for your guts, and if you eat too much of it, you will fart, okay? Then now let's go to the alternative sweeteners. But the number one question I always have is about, stevia. It's coming from a plant. It has 0 calories, but is it good or not? Well, what you have to know about stevia is it's coming from a plant that, in fact, you can grow in your garden in New Jersey. And when you chew it, it's sugary but slightly bitter. The food industry is processing the plants to eliminate the bitterness. And most of the stevia we consume here comes from China. So you don't know how it's been grown. Okay, we don't know what is the long-term impact of eating stevia, but there's a lot of studies showing that all those alternative sweeteners are still promoting your desire to eat sugar. This does something to your brain, and even in some instances, it's increasing your insulin level. So then there are the other sweeteners that are not in my house. Splenda uses sucralose. Sucralose comes from sugar. It's a little bit like the sugar alcohols. It has 0 calories almost. And then there's saccharin and aspartame. Aspartame was used in all the sodas, diet sodas, and now it's gone because aspartame has been linked to blood cancer, so it's gone. Now, the worst of the worst is everything that comes from corn. We are a big producer of corn, and we don't know what to do with this corn anymore. So we've created corn syrup, and we add corn syrup to everything that is processed and packaged. Next time you go to the supermarket, check all those packaged foods. And not just the cookies and the chocolate and so forth, but even frozen dinners, vinegars, mustard, whatever it is, you will see that there's usually some glucose that's been added to just sweeten it a little bit. Even your honey ham. You think it's honey they inject in the ham? No, it's glucose. So here are all the names that the food industry has found to name corn syrup, but you don't know what it is. maltose, glucose, fructose, inverted sugar. What the heck is that? Okay, cornstarch, corn syrup, dextrin, maltodextrin, dextrose. So it's not because you don't see glucose syrup on the label that there is no glucose syrup. You have to look for all the other names. So I talk a lot about this in my book. But what I want you to know is that glucose is associated absolutely with a huge rise in obesity, in cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and fatty livers in our kids in the US, and it has to get out of your life. It is really worse than the toxic boyfriend. It is like really the boyfriend that has completely to disappear from your life. My advice is to eat as fresh as you can and avoid packaged foods as much as you can. Because I have clients who say to me, Veronique, I'm not eating pastries anymore, I'm not eating ice cream anymore, and so forth. But they continue to eat a lot of processed foods. So they continue to get that glucose. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, get rid of sugar. It's bad for you in many, many ways, and I'm going to talk about this in my video part 2, and then video part 3 will be how to kick the habit, how to deal with cravings, how to avoid cravings. Have a wonderful day.